We've got this video here by Common Sense Soapbox. And this one is a kind of interesting question because I generally try not to watch videos about a topic that I don't know a whole lot about so that I can actually do a proper reaction. But I feel like I might be able to give some commentary on this. This is Gen Z really the poorest generation? By Common Sense Soapbox. I'm right on the edge, I think, between... I don't know. I was born in 2000, so you do the math of what generation I'm in. But I'm pretty close to being in Gen Z, so I'll just say that I'm in Gen Z, although I'm probably the oldest Gen Z person you'll ever meet.
Man, I must be getting old. Every time I see a video made by some kid, all they do is complain. Check this out.
Boomers always out here talking about how my generation needs to get a job and stop eating avocado toast, but here I am, a gajillion dollars in debt for a stupid degree. But I've applied to 1,000 jobs in my field and nobody is offering me $200,000 a year. Ugh.
I mean, if you're $200,000 in debt, you're not gonna make all that money back in 1 year, though. Like, people spend like 20 or 30 years chipping away at their college debt in many cases. Even going to state universities, which are generally cheaper than private institutions. So I feel like the approach is a little bit off here.
I'll never be able to afford a house.
That's true.
When you dumb boomers were my age, college cost like $5, and they all bought houses on a year's salary.
That's true.
Everything was so easy for them.
Wow. I don't know. She's not entirely wrong. A lot of young people are saddled with a huge amount of debt for college degrees that probably won't help them get a job that pays anything close to what they think they're gonna make. And after
Hold on, wait a second. Hold on, let me see. I gotta find this because I posted about this in my Discord actually. I am pretty sure that I posted it in here somewhere. Because I made a flippant joke about it when I was in DJ LL's chat one time. Yeah, it's literally right here. I said, "Uh-oh, that joke I made in your chat isn't funny anymore, Italian artisan." And so right here, income needed to buy a home. Annual income needed to afford house payments at 30% cost ratio. The source, by the way, is the U.S. Census Bureau, Zillow, and Case Shiller. Right now, the amount of money that you would need in order to afford an average home is $111,000. $111,000, which many people would find devastating when you consider the fact that buying a home is one of the major pillars of the classic American dream that many people have bought into ever since they've been born here.
that probably won't help them get a job that pays anything close to what they think they're gonna make. And after the last 3 years of out-of-control inflation, our cost of living has gone up by almost 19%. But then, both the cost of college and average consumer prices are a direct consequence of the government handing out trillions of dollars in loans, grants, and stimulus packages.
This is the thing that frustrates me the most, especially when people are extremely partisan about this. I don't understand. This completely boggles my mind. Why literally no one is calling out Donald Trump for being probably the greatest contributor to the current inflation situation that we have right now. Hold on. Let me look this up. How many trillions of dollars or trillions of dollars did Donald Trump print as part of those stimulus packages for COVID? Hold on. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, this is how much money was spent so far in response to COVID-19. I'm actually kind of scared. To see how much this is. Yo! $4.6 trillion was printed. And this, I'm quite sure, was just over the course of like 2 years. So we're talking about adding $4.6 trillion to the circulation of the United States dollar. And yet people want to blame Joe Biden primarily for the state that our economy is in. This was always doomed to happen. This was always doomed to happen. And I don't understand how no one was like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Like, literally, I was thinking, like, all that the stimulus packages does is postpone the economic depression. It just makes it so that it doesn't happen under Trump's presidency. Because you had two options if you're going to shut down. We had three options, really. If you wanted to react to COVID-19, it was either A, shut everything down and give everyone money for doing nothing and just sitting at home. 2, send everyone home and give them nothing and then watch the economy collapse and everyone get poor. Or 3, send everyone to work still. And to be honest, there are no perfect solutions to that scenario. Each of those answers has its own consequences. But I think one problem here is people are misappropriating the blame. Yes, Joe Biden has been spending money on aid to individuals and unnecessary stimulus packages, even today with things like the Great American Rescue Plan. Yes, Joe Biden has been stimulating growth in the energy sector and blocking things such as the Keystone Pipeline, which would have kept down the prices of things like oil and natural gas, which in turn would have lowered the cost of pretty much every item in the United States of America, because high gas prices makes it more expensive to transport goods across the country, thus making it more expensive to actually buy the goods because they have to raise the price to cover the transportation costs of all the items. So Joe Biden certainly has not been helping the situation, but he has not made it. But if you were going to pick one person who has made the situation worse, than literally anybody else, it would have to be Donald Trump. And I hate that not that many people on the right are willing to call out Donald Trump for that. Sorry, I got stomached again.
Consequence of the government handing out trillions of dollars in loans, grants, and stimulus packages.
Yeah, but come on. It's always been tough for people just starting out. And honestly, most of these influencers live with a lot of luxuries that almost no one could afford 20 to 30 years ago.
Influencers are the worst, and some of the complaints you hear from them aren't true, or they're comparing totally different things. For example, in 1950, the median price of a new home was about $80,000 in 2020 money. But today, the median price of a new home is over $416K.
Ow!
To put everything in perspective, this is the median price of a home. That number that we looked at earlier was how much money you would need to make in order to afford a home. So the numbers are different.
That's a huge increase. But there are two things people usually leave out of that story. Firstly, governments at all levels have created a ton of mandates, zoning rules, building requirements, and licensing restrictions that didn't exist in the 50s, and as a result, new constructions haven't come close to outpacing population growth for years. Then, decades of government printing trillions of dollars and funneling it into the housing market has also played a huge role in increasing the price of housing. But on top of that, we're talking about totally different kinds of houses. Over the same time period, the average size of a single-family home went from about 1,000 square feet to 2,600 square feet.
Whoa.
New homes are also significantly safer, better insulated, more fireproof, and are full of appliances and amenities that literally didn't even exist.
Plus, isn't the median skewed by a few major cities?
Exactly. California being completely out of control alters the average for everyone else. But
That's
the
true.
really big lie here is about income. In the 1950s,
Hold on, no, it
the
doesn't.
median
No, it doesn't, because you literally use median numbers, and outliers do not affect the median numbers. The median? No, wait a second. Outliers can't skew medians. Hold on, I took statistics. Outliers can't affect medians, and that's why people use median numbers. Outliers affect. Oh, here it is. Okay, so by the way, if you're not familiar with math, I'm going to give you guys a little math lesson here. Outlier, an extreme value in a set of data which is much higher or lower than the other set of numbers, or than the other numbers. Mean, average, the average of set of data that is calculated by dividing the sum of the data by the number of items in the set. Median, the middle value when data are arranged in numeric order, or the average of the two middle numbers when the set has an even number of data. Mode, the value that occurs most frequently in a set of data. Now here's the important part. Measures of central tendency are mean, median, and mode. Outliers affect the mean value of the data, but have little effect on the median or mode of a given set of data. The reason why this is the case is if the median is just like the number that's in the middle out of a bunch of different numbers. And so let's say you have an outlier all the way up at the top, which the California average home cost is like $2 million, let's say. You remove that does nothing to the number that's in the middle, basically. It may cause it to shift a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, but generally that number is not really going to change very much. That's basically what it's saying here. So no, medians cannot be skewed by outliers. I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about here.
Square feet to 2,600 square feet. New homes are also significantly safer, better insulated, more fireproof, and are full of appliances and amenities that literally didn't even exist.
Plus, isn't the median skewed by a few major cities?
Exactly. California being completely out of control alters the average for everyone.
It alters the average, yes. When people say average, by the way, usually they refer to the mean. There are many ways to calculate averages, but mean is basically the default. It will affect the mean, but it won't affect the median.
Everyone else. But the really big lie here is about income. In the 1950s, the median individual income for men was about $33K a year in today's dollars. A lot of people on TikTok are happy to tell you they're now paid less than individuals were back then, but the median income for people today is over 25% more than that adjusted for inflation. A lot of us are way worse off economically than we were in 2019. There's no question there. But are we worse off than we were?
Hey. Who should we blame for that? Who do you think we should blame for that? Do you think? I wonder who the president was in 2018. Just take a guess. And let me remind you, I'm a conservative. If Donald Trump is the GOP nominee, I'll probably vote for him. But we have to admit the fact that he has ruined the economy through how he handled COVID.
Worse off economically than we were in 2019. There's no question there. But are we worse off than we were in the 70s? No. Let's look at the people and policies that ruined everything over the last 4 years before we start chasing down broader systemic issues.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. He makes some good points there. Pretty good video. I think they got one minor thing wrong, basically. But good video. These guys are fire. You should definitely check out their content.